Everyone claims to be different in the Amazon FBA management space. And it can be a very dirty space to be involved with. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I think that the number one reason that I've seen with being inside the space for the last decade is a lot of people take the copy-paste approach, which you should copy people that are doing it right. That's a proven model across all business industries. The problem is, specifically speaking in the wholesale industry with Amazon, there are so many guidelines that you have to follow that if you apply that copy-paste model on the outside, which on the appearance side for the investors, it looks great, but if you don't know how to operate the logistics, that's what results in the space having a bad name. People get the wrong idea specifically with e-commerce because when you're posing to have this thing and then you don't know how to operate it on the back end, and it results in people losing their stores or getting things shut down because you don't know operationally how to control the things that you state that you have and do. You're taking a multi-billion-dollar industry and you're essentially throwing confetti on poop. And that's what you guys think that you're looking at. But the truth of the matter is, it couldn't be a multi-billion-dollar industry if someone wasn't operating it right. This is where the logistics come into a big operational play and where your potential could be. And it's one of those things that we pride ourselves on because it's not just revenue being returned in a storefront, it's the additional opportunities that come involved with those storefronts that we're traveling place to place to be able to acquire to make sure that you have some kind of equity or fulfillment inside with your storefront. That way you're not just another store selling inside Amazon, but rather you're attached to these brands that are trying to make a name for themselves and also trying to make a quality brand that's supplying to the massive consumer market inside of the United States of America. Amazon FBA quite literally changed my wife and I's life. In 2017, we started a really small operation out of an apartment at the time being, which is where we started doing our brand direct relationships. And being involved with Amazon for that amount of time, I've seen a lot of changes come and go specifically inside the space, which has allowed me to do this right. And that's start small and start to grow big. That way, along the way, the hiccups that are happening, they're manageable. And in this space, when people are running these services and people are getting in over their head, operationally speaking, when you take too much on the chin and you don't understand how a trillion-dollar company is moving in order for them to stay effective, and the way that they're putting a microscope on the sellers and you don't know how to direct it, that's how a lot of these companies are seeing themselves get involved with hot water. And it's unfortunate to see so many people come and go because, again, there's so much opportunity involved in the space. It's more than just making monthly revenue inside a storefront that you would see in most traditional commerce places. It is a compounding asset that you grow in a storefront. When you're associating brands, brand directs that other companies are stating that they have, it's more than just putting feet on the floor and going to expos to get a signed document. If you want a growing asset, specifically speaking for your storefront, you got to make sure that when you're going to meet these brands or getting these brand direct relationships, you're going to their manufacturing plants or you're going to their distribution operations and you're meeting the teams and you're seeing what kind of brand concept they have or what their brand fulfillment is, what their brand vision is. Because just like you vet us as a company, we have to vet them as a brand. I don't want a brand association, specifically speaking with your storefront, that doesn't seem to be going places because then it only devalues your storefront and the products that you sell inside the storefront. You want direct association. It's what sets you up best for success. Now the beauty in partnering with people like us is I don't need you to learn the ins and outs of Amazon. That is something that we've been specializing in, again, for going on 10 years now. And I have a team of operatives that have been here for the last 4+ years that have been specializing in creating and cultivating these relationships and picking those needles from a haystack to associate with these storefronts so it creates the best profitability for the future, not just for you, but also for us. Now that's just one of the very many reasons that a lot of people do go out of business. And to touch on the point that I was making earlier, it's looking at something like Apple or looking at like the Temu version of Apple. They might appear to have the same things, but are they running logistically the same? No. Or are they operating the same? No. You're never going to get the same quality. And that's why there are certain price points for different factors inside the industry. I know what it takes to run something of this magnitude, and although you might not understand it, when you take a look and you do your due diligence and you see the operations, running things at this magnitude is not cheap. So when people are promising you the sun, moon, and stars, and it sounds too good to be true, the chances are it is. And I can't even count on two hands how many times I've seen companies go out because they're in a business of over-promising and under-delivering rather than it being the other way around. And one thing that I can absolutely put my my hope, trust, faith into is the fact that I have a team that not only am I proud of, but I have people inside of Amazon that are proud of the company, that have direct Amazon executives now that have come to work inside the company, because I have employees that have dedicated 4+, 5+ years, and we're the only company inside the industry that can say that they have hands on deck specifically in the management field doing what we do at that magnitude. So I'm not handing over your Rolls Royce to now a first time or a first day mechanic. These are people that know exactly what's going on inside the operations. They know the people to contact. When it comes to Amazon's terms of service, they know how to navigate it better than anybody else. And although it's an ever-changing field and I don't make Amazon's rules, I want somebody with experience that can try to forecast those things ahead of time. That way, we can make sure that we're staying up to speed, we're staying up to par, and we're making the stores profitable as we possibly can. Now, for example, one of the perks of having Amazon executives specifically allocated into our company is staying ahead of the curve. And although there is a wave of knowledge now about Amazon needing people to be a part of their service provider network, and that was made mandatory April of 2025, that was something we were ahead of the previous year. And you don't want companies that are jumping on things last minute because now they're gambling with your investment versus being partnered with people like us that are way ahead of that. That way we're not running into issues that if I'm not meeting Amazon's requirements, or if there is something that changes in their terms of service, or a company needs to make a turn on the dime, we're light years ahead of that. I'm no longer making sure that whether you're paying someone 25, 35, 45 grand, that your store is down and potentially stays down for good because those companies can't make those accommodations or financially aren't equipped to be able to meet SPN requirements. Look, as you can see, we're not here to chase quick trends. I got 10 years deep in this. I really want to go another 10 to 20 years in it. At the very least, I don't want a small piece of Amazon. I want a chunk of it. And if you want to help me be a part of that, then I think you should take a look at some of these other videos that we have following so you can get a better understanding, or at least a deeper understanding of our operations, how we can get you involved with it, and how we can do this together.